Hello, welcome back to another video on what if Naruto went to My Hero Academia. This is part 4, so if you want to check the other 3 parts, they're down below. Also, I have another channel that I created with my friend that we are taking very seriously. We're posting every day. So far, we've just been posting basketball content, but there's other stuff on there, like we ranked some famous movies. We did some stupid challenges with warheads, so you should, go check that. That'll also be in the description down below. But without further ado, let's get started. After the events of the USJ facility attack, events would turn out pretty similar, with other students at UA flocking the classroom. At the time the event was set to schedule, we would still see the declarations of war from everyone and the confidence grow within Deku. For the first event, the race, the events would play out like in the anime, with Deku coming in first. Naruto would come in the top 10, as while he doesn't have any major speed boosts, Naruto's agility and speed are still considered very impressive. Naruto and Uraraka would praise Deku, and the second event would start. Deku would still get the 1 million points, but instead of being nervous to find a teammate, he knows that he can rely on Naruto. Deku also scouts Uraraka and Tokoyome like in a cannon. In this scenario, Deku, with his big brain and Naruto's battle sense, with also Tokoyome's defense, the team is able to keep the 1 million plus points and have a commanding lead in terms of the leaderboard. This frustrates Bakugo, as he believes that he should be in first. Now it is time for the main event. Ojiro and the other people on Shinso's team still back out of the event. This angers Naruto, as he believes Ojiro earned his spot. Nevertheless, they still leave, and Tetsu and Shiozaki are still admitted into the final round. Now it's time for the students to look at the matchups. Due to Naruto being there are some changes in the matchups. However, some are fairly similar. The first matchup will be Deku versus Shinso. The second, Tenya versus Kaminari. The third, Tetsu versus Kirishima. The fourth, Yaoyorozu versus Tokiyomi. The fifth, Shoto versus Sero. The sixth, Naruto versus Shiozaki. The seventh, Ashido versus Ayome. And finally, the eighth, Bakugo versus Uraraka. Like in the anime, Ojiro still warns Deku about his quirk, but Deku still falls under it. The fight pretty much happens the same, with Deku winning the match and seeing the past users of One for All. For the second match between Tenya versus Kaminari, Tenya still has power in his legs due to him not using the final move on Deku and his team. The match is pretty one-sided, as Tenya moves on to the second round. The third matchup between Kirishima and Tetsu would go the same, with Kirishima winning. The same would also happen for the fight between Yaoyorozu and Tokoyami, as it is important for Yaoyorozu's character to lose in that fight and lower her confidence. With the Shoto and Sero fight, Shoto would still get lectured by his father and still make a giant ice blast with a frozen Sero, and made Shoto the victor. Now for the fight between Naruto and Shiozaki. Naruto would come out of the gate with a barrage of shadow clones. Shiozaki would use her vines and try to smack all the clones away. But without noticing the real Naruto, he popped up and from behind used a mini Rasengan on her, crashing her into the ground and making Naruto the victor. For the next match, between Ashido and Ayome, Naruto quickly runs into her in the waiting room and wishes Ashido good luck. In the matchup, it would pretty much be the same as in canon, with Ashido coming up on top. Naruto would congratulate her, and their friendship would become more solidified. The matchup between Uraraka and Bakugo would go the same, with Deku defending Uraraka's plan and going to the waiting room to make sure that she was alright. After their conversation, the second round would start. with Deku versus Tenya, Kirishima versus Tokiyome, Shoto versus Naruto, and Bakugo versus Ashido. This scared Ashido, but Naruto told her to do her best trying to comfort her. In the first match between Deku and Tenya, both would go all out. At the end of the match, Deku would have won the match, however, at the loss of both hands due to the strain of One for All. The second match between Kirishima and Tokiyome would have Tokiyome winning, as all Tokiyome would have to do is tire out Kirishima and strike him when his defense is off. Now for the third match between Naruto and Shoto. Before the match, Endeavor passes Naruto, and like he did with Deku, explains essentially where Shoto is coming from. Naruto takes this to heart and continues to walk out to the stadium. This matchup is a bit more entertaining as Naruto is a close combat type of fighter and Shoto is more defensive. The two clash and massive amounts of wind burst from their collide. Naruto summons shadow clones in order to distract him. The real Naruto then pops up from behind and, like in the previous match, uses a mini Rasengan. This launches Shoto flying, but not out of the ring. Naruto, like in the Deku vs Shoto fight, talks to Shoto and uses the most powerful jutsu in Naruto canon, Talk no Jutsu. Shoto, realizing his potential, uses the fire side and gets ready for an attack. Naruto gets a normal-sized Rasengan ready and charges forward as well. This scares the teachers as Cemento starts building a barrier. This doesn't stop them, and the two collide, making a sonic boom, and the battlefield goes flying everywhere. When the dust settles, the entire ring has been destroyed. Midnight, noticing that both are down, begins to wave the flag to announce a draw. However, looking closer, Shoto is more in the ring than Naruto, and is partially moving, struggling to get up. Midnight waves the flag in favor of Shoto, and the crowd goes wild. Even Bakugo has a pinch of fear leak out onto his face. Midnight then tells the audience that they will take a short break in order to fix the stadium, so it's more safe. Both Naruto and Shoto are rushed into the infirmary. After about half an hour, both Shoto and Naruto were out, Naruto looking much more healthier and active than Shoto. Shoto was told to rest in the waiting room, and Naruto was told to join his classmates in the stands. On his way up, he met up with All Might. All Might told Naruto how proud he was of him, and the fact that he was able to use a normal-sized Rasengan. Naruto laughed it off, saying it just took skill. The two parted ways, and the match between Ashito and Bakugo was about to take place. Going into the match, Bakugo was furious as everyone had stopped talking about him, and were talking all about Deku's match and the match between Shoto and Naruto. At the start of the match, Bakugo went out flying, showing no remorse for Ashido. This started to anger Naruto, and Deku, sitting beside him, could see it. Just as Ashido would get up, Bakugo would blast her back into the ground. The teachers, now concerned for their student, began wondering if they should stop the match. The gap in skill between the two was getting larger and larger the more Bakugo kept sending her around. Then Ashido collapsed. Bakugo, not seeing this due to the smoke, started charging at her, using one of his most signature strikes. Everyone in the stands was gasping. Cementos tried to build the walls, but they just weren't fast enough. Just as Bakugo was about to land his attack, Naruto appeared and in an orange flash swooped in and saved Ashido. Now Naruto was covered in the Nine Tails cloak, but was able to control it better, as it only had one tail. Eventually it disappeared, and Naruto muttered, "You're supposed to be a hero, not an executioner." This pissed off Bakugo, and as he was about to attack, Midnight used her power to put Bakugo asleep. Midnight then announced that they would take another short break to start the third round. However, the crowd was not too concerned about that. Everyone was gazing over Naruto and how fast he was able to move. Naruto, not knowing any of this, brought Ashito to see Recovery Girl. I wanted to have this scene as it was pretty important in the Naruto verse where he stops Neji from killing Hinata. I thought it was important for the heroes to see that A, Naruto would save a life, first, as it's in his instincts, and B, has had immense power that he didn't show in the tournament. With the semifinals about to begin, Deku would be facing Tokiyome, and Shoto would be going up against Bakugo. The Deku-Tokiyome match would be over pretty quickly as Deku is out of limbs to shoot his quirk. Tokiyome would advance. The match between Bakugo and Shoto would be more different from the one in the canon. This time, Shoto would use his powers more and actually start to take the match. However, Shoto would have a flashback of his parents and stop pressuring as much. This would result in Bakugo getting an opening and winning the match. This angers Bakugo as he knows Shoto stopped trying. The finale between Bakugo vs. Tokiyome would be similar to the canon, and Bakugo would win the match, resulting in Bakugo winning the sports festival, Tokiyome coming in second, and Shoto coming in third. And that is going to wrap up part 4. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Also, please go check out my other channel that I created with my friends. We need the support. Please, please, please. And yeah, I'll see you in part 5.